guys? This is SJ Football 16. The international break is over, and the predictions are back underway, this time for week 5 of the Barclays Premier League. I'm going to start with the early game kickoff today between Everton and Chelsea. I think the score is going to be 2-1 to Chelsea, and the scorers for Everton will be Leighton Baines, and for Chelsea it will be Falcao and Ramirez, because Chelsea, although they've had a dodgy period this season, I think they could bounce back with a win against Everton. Now I'm going to head over to the game between Arsenal and Stoke City. I think the score is going to be 1-0 to Arsenal, because Stoke are actually a very good side, and they could cause Arsenal problems, but Arsenal will probably just have the upper hand in the end, with Alexis Sanchez scoring. Now I'm going to head over to the game between Crystal Palace and Man City. This is actually quite a difficult one, because we've seen the results that Crystal Palace have picked up recently, and they've done really well beating Chelsea and beating other teams as well. And Man City, although they've had a perfect record so far, I think the score, it'll still mean Man City will be unbeaten, but I think the score is going to be 0-0, because Palace have proved that they can play well against any opposition this season. Now I'm going to head over to the game between the newly promoted sides, Norwich City and Bournemouth. I think the score in that is going to be 1-1, because the teams are very similar in terms of ability, because as we know, they both got promoted and they're both doing pretty much the same this season as well. And I think the scorers are going to be Harry Arter for Bournemouth and Cameron Jerome for Norwich. Now I'm going to head over to the game between Watford and Swansea. Although Swansea have had a brilliant start to the season, I think Watford could end up causing them some problems, and the game will end up being 1-1, because Watford, they haven't exactly had a bad start to the season. They've been unbeaten this season, apart from their last game against Manchester City, and we know that they can cause big teams like this problems. We saw them do it against Southampton. We saw them do it against West Brom. They could possibly do it against Swansea as well. So it's going to be 1-1, and the scorers are going to be Fernandez for Swansea and Diamanti for Watford. Now I'm going to head over to the game between West Brom and Southampton. I think the score is probably going to be 2-1 to West Brom. Although West Brom have had quite a bad start to the season, I think they could bounce back with a win against Southampton, because we see this happen to teams every season. They have a bad period at the start of the season, but suddenly they'll start to pick up form. They'll probably be one of those teams like Sunderland or Crystal Palace or another team like that. And Southampton, they haven't exactly had the best of starts to seasons. So I think the scorers are going to be Craig Gardner for West Brom with 2, and for Southampton it's going to be Graziano Pella. Now I'm going to head over to the late kickoff between Manchester United and Liverpool. I know many of you will think probably Manchester United will have the upper hand against Liverpool. I don't exactly think that's necessary, because against the big teams, Liverpool have done well. We saw them get a good result against Arsenal, drawing 0-0, and their start to the season has been brilliant. Although they had a bad game against West Ham, I think the score is going to be a 2-2 draw, with Ander Herrera and Antonio Valencia scoring for Manchester United, and Martin Skrtel and Jordan Henderson scoring for Liverpool. Now I'm going to head over to the Sunday kickoff between Sunderland and Tottenham. I think the score is going to be 0-0, because although Sunderland have had quite a bad start to the season, they will also bounce back as we see them do every season. And Tottenham, they haven't exactly had a good start to the season. Now I'm going to head over to the 4:30 kickoff between Leicester and Aston Villa. I think the score is going to be 2-2 because Villa have recently played really well, and Leicester, uh, although they've had a really good start to the season, it could all go downhill now. We see this happen like with a lot of teams. So I think it's going to be 2-2 with Matthew James and Andy King scoring for Leicester, and for Aston Villa it's going to be Gay and Bakuna. And finally, I'm going to head over to the game between West Ham and Newcastle. I think the final score is going to be 1-0, and Mauro Zarate is going to score because Newcastle, they played quite well recently, but West Ham, although they haven't played well recently, I think they could cause Newcastle some problems. We saw them cause problems against Arsenal. We saw them cause problems against Liverpool. They could possibly do the same against Newcastle United. I think that's it for this video now. So don't forget to like, subscribe, or comment on any changes you think should be made. And I'll see you guys next time.